CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson presents Western Edge Living. Welcome to Western Edge Living, presented by CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson. I'm your host, Bill Polnick, also known as Wild Bill. We've got an interesting guest coming up here in just a moment. Before we get there, I want to tell you that I'm also the media director at the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame in historic Medora. Come on down. We are currently open 9 to 6 weekdays and weekends too. That means we're open 7 days a week at the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. Come and see us. We also have implemented what's called the volunteer program. If you're interested in working for the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame, you'll be compensated with living accommodations, food vouchers, musical tickets, and much, much more. If you're interested, go to our website, northdakotakowboy.org, or go to our Facebook page and find out more information about the wonderful volunteer program that just basically got started last year, I guess, and really went into full swing this year. And we do currently have a couple of openings in the fall of 2024. So if you're interested, we'd love to talk to you about our volunteer program. Our annual golf scramble is always the first Thursday in September. That'll be coming up. And we also have another event coming up September 13th and 14th. It's the Cowboy Reunion at the Alvin Nelson Memorial Arena at the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. And again, you can find out more information about all the events that we have all year long at northdakotakowboy.org, or you can find us on Facebook as well. Medora is popping. It's a busy summer, from Bully Pulpit Golf Course to Point Park to the Medora Gospel Brunch and so much more. You can find out all the details at medora.com. Western Edge Living, presented by CHI St. Alexius Health. Thanks again for watching. We'll be back in just a moment with our first guest. Stay tuned.
I had an episode with cancer. When I hit that 5-year mark, my doctor at Cancer Treatment Center of America outside of Chicago suggested to me that my provider in Dickinson at my hospital, do the tests that they would do at Zion. So within less than 2 days, I had both my tests taken and results, and I was able to stay in Dickinson and not have to travel all those miles. I just feel the fact that they work so closely together in making sure that those tests were taken and that my overall health was first and foremost in both those minds, whether it was at CTCA at Zion or my hospital right here. So I'm just so grateful for that.
Medora Boot and Western Wear in the heart of historic Medora, open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Boot is their middle name, and they have over 1,500 pairs of boots in stock for all ages and sizes. They also have the all-new Higher Boot, with more expected to arrive this summer. Western clothes, belts, caps, hats, and more, including a great line of toys and Longhorn wall decor. Medora Boot and Western Wear for the cowboy and cowgirl in you.
Medora Boot and Western Wear.
Welcome back to Western Edge Living, presented by CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson. I'm your host, Wild Bill, and we're visiting with a young man who turned his hobby and his passion into a small business, and it's working really well for him. Erik Sjursen with Erik's Books. Nice to see you.
Thank you, Bill.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up here in Dickinson, North Dakota, just on Decker Subdivision, just south of town.
Okay, and went to high school where?
Century down in Bismarck, North Dakota. Spent about half of my life here in Dickinson and the other half over in Bismarck.
Okay, you have brothers and sisters? And
one sister, 2 years younger.
Okay, where is she at? Is she nearby? Or?
She's actually a teacher over in Fargo, North Dakota.
Oh, okay. At what point in your life did you discover the joy of reading, the joy of books?
I got to give my 7th grade English teacher a lot of props, because she had us read a lot of really good literature, and I knew I liked it, but it really wasn't popular, with a lot of other kids. But I know I enjoyed it, and it's kind of funny how the things that you read in school and a lot of these classics or older works, you don't appreciate them as much then as you do later, and you're like, wow, I should really go back and check those out again, and that's where it kind of started.
And how old were you at this point?
Probably like 12 or 13
12 years
or
old.
so.
Okay.
Yep.
A lot of the libraries and a lot of youth organizations, they have these reading events where they have book reading and things, and a lot of the youngsters attend these. You're also a father of a young daughter, correct?
Correct.
What are you telling her as far as discovering the joy of holding a book and maybe putting one of these things down and holding a book?
Well, one of the interesting things that happened this last year at our school, they give all the kids a lot of these like little history pamphlets, that talk about a particular significant event in American history. And one of the articles was on the Titanic, and it had a lot of the, the original pictures and everything like that in there. And so she was showing me, and I was just like, let me go get something here really quick. And I had a first edition copy of the wreck of the Titanic that had some of the pictures in it from 1912 that were in her pamphlet in the school brochure that they had.
Wow.
So it was kind of interesting that she could actually hold and read something that she was learning about in school, but it's the actual thing from back then.
Yes, there's something about holding a book and the aroma of an old book.
Yep.
And, just turning the pages and putting your bookmark in. There's something about that is magical, in my opinion. You came on my radar when you were at the mall.
Yep.
And you'd have a kiosk set up every week. And we say kiosk, you'd have a table and all these books. And I got to thinking, man, he's got a lot of books here, and lugging those in and out. But you did it every single weekend.
Yep.
In all different kinds of weather. How long had you been at the mall with your Erik's book kiosk?
About a year and a half.
Okay. And it was always was a dream of yours for a long time to maybe have your own standalone brick and mortar store?
It really was. And the point at which it was to make sure you got your name out there, also getting better and better material over time. And so that was kind of my goal ever since when I started that kiosk. And so I slowly but surely built up a better and better stock over that time.
And we've been keeping an eye on you since then, and you've decided to go ahead and take the plunge. And now you're set up just south of the UPS store, south of the Prairie Hills Mall, next to the security place.
Yep, the Cerberus Security.
Cerberus Security.
Right next to there. So.
And your hours are the same, correct?
Correct. Saturday 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday noon to 5 p.m.
Okay. Your inventory. You've got an eclectic inventory. The books that I've bought from you, Wonderful, Wonderful, the autobiography of Lawrence Welk. And I never was a fan of Lawrence Welk, but the book, I couldn't put it down. I started reading at your table, and I had to have that. And another interesting book that maybe our friend Doug in Medora might know something about is The Aristocrat of the West, the story of Harold Schaefer, his autobiography. Another great find I got from your store. And those are the genres that speak to me, that appeal to me. What do you personally like to read, Erik?
I am personally really interested in philosophy, theology, and classics. Those are kind of my own personal study and favorites, but I carry a wide selection. So
these books that you brought with you today, I told you to bring 3 books of interest, and you brought, are these considered classics?
Yeah. And so one is going to be a really fine example of some Americana or early American history, and then the other 2 are going to be some classics. Yep.
Expand on that. Tell us what we have here.
Sure. So right here we have an example of a really immaculate condition copy of Poe's Poetical Works, published 1852 in London. And it's got gilt blind stamp decorations on the front and the back. And then it's also illustrated.
Okay.
And then it's got gilt on the page edges as well.
Okay, and who would be interested in that book? A collector or?
Yeah, pretty much a collector. So this particular copy is the finest example of this edition that I can find anywhere. And the next copy that would probably be somewhat similar to this, but in worse condition than mine, is at about roughly $650. And that one doesn't have as much gilt decoration as mine does.
How does that compare to the value of this particular book?
So this particular one in this condition I have at $850 at a fair market retail price.
Okay, do you have folks that are watching this one? And
I have a few people that have commented on it.
Okay.
And so, yes.
Yeah, I saw that. I think I've seen that on your social media.
Yep.
People talking about that. What else have you brought with you today, Erik?
So the next one is going to be my very best copy of a book that I have currently in stock. This is going to be a 1791 copy of the Laws of the United States. And this includes the Constitution, as well as many of the other early acts of the American nation. Now, the interesting thing about this one is this one has some prior ownership provenance by this gentleman, Silas Lee, who signs it August 4th, 1794.
Is that an actual autograph or a signature?
Yep.
Really?
And he signs it kind of even throughout the book.
Okay.
And when I was cataloging this, there are some annotations and marginalia. So what that means is some writing in the margins. And, I can't 100% confirm it, but there'd be no one else who would probably write in it like that. And it's most likely in Silas Lee's hand, on him expounding upon some of his notes on some of these acts. Now, Silas Lee was studied law in the late 1700s, and then in 1802 was appointed by Thomas Jefferson to be the U.S. Attorney for the District of Maine. Okay. And this is his personal copy in its original binding.
Value?
$7,000 for this one.
$7,000.
Correct.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
So there are a few different editions of this 1791. This one, mine being the rarer of them. And when I was doing my research, I could only find one other dealer in New York City that had a copy of this particular edition in worse condition than mine, without any prior ownership provenance, and they have theirs listed at $6,000.
Wow! And finally, this
kind of behemoth there. This is going to be a illustrated copy of Dante's Inferno, illustrated specifically by Gustave Doré. Now, Gustave Doré was a French illustrator in the mid to late 1800s, most well known for his art and illustrations of many classics such as Milton's Paradise Lost, the Bible, Dante's Divine Comedy, and many other works. So basically what he did is many illustrations in here are going to be woodcut illustrations.
Woodcut illustrations?
Yep. So basically...
Does that mean just like it sounds with wood that's cut out of wood?
You got it.
Really? Okay.
Yep. And that in the late 1800s, you had different types of engravings. You had woodcut ones where they would do it on wood and with kind of like a carving tool. And then they would also use steel plate as well. But these are specifically woodcut.
Will these be at the store at Erik's Books? If somebody watching perhaps would like to see these books, you'll have them at the store?
They're all there. And then I also have cataloged listings of these up on my business Facebook page that describe the addition and the condition. So I make sure to describe any flaws that I find.
And your Facebook page is Erik's Books, right?
Correct.
Erik with a K.
Erik with a K, correct.
All right. Your hours at Erik's Books.
That's going to be Saturday, 10 to 5, and then Sunday, noon to 5.
Okay, wonderful. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to perhaps share with our viewers today?
Yeah, I do provide a few services. So if you always have been curious about maybe a book that you've inherited or gotten from a family member, and you just wanted to know more about it, or even like hypothetically what a potential retail value is, I can help you out with coming out with an evaluation of your book. And sometimes, insurance, they might need something like that.
I might add, you did exactly that with my mother's Ukrainian books.
Correct.
And we appreciate that so much. Erik's Books, find you on Facebook, find you just south of the UPS store on weekends, and we thank you for joining us today.
Thanks,
we appreciate
Bill.
that. You bet. Erik Sjursen with Erik's Books. And we will be back in just a moment here on Western Edge Living, presented by CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you.
Service Pro Express Lube, now open on East Villar Dickinson, gets your vehicle serviced quickly and you're back on the road in no time. No appointment required. You don't even get out of your vehicle. They utilize Service Pro oil, the only oil produced and refined in the U.S., and it meets or exceeds vehicle manufacturer requirements. Plus, they top off all fluids and perform multi-point inspections. It's part of what's offered at Service Pro Express Lube. Students looking for a part-time gig? Inquire at Service Pro Express Lube. Ask about the Scholarship Incentive Program. Service Pro Express Lube, East Villar Dickinson, next to Lucky's.
At Ponchero's, we don't just make burritos. We build them for a full-on flavor experience when you eat it. Ponchero's. Come build your better. At Ponchero's, we mix our ingredients so that all the right stuff is in all the right places. Ponchero's. Come build your better.
Being affected with hearing loss is a common problem, but it made me feel detached from those around me, particularly loved ones. Finally, I made the decision to contact Alliance Center for Hearing in Bismarck. They understand hearing loss and are very thorough in testing, diagnosis, and recommending a solution. Contact Alliance Center for Hearing to begin your journey to better hearing. Alliance Center for Hearing gave me my hearing back, which brought me closer to those who matter most in my life.
IT problems have you down and you need to get back up and running? Then call the IT techs at Consolidated. Here's what our customers are saying.
Josh called moments after I sent my ticket in and resolved the issue in about 30 seconds after logging onto my computer. Very friendly and professional. Thank you.
Erik responded to our request very quickly and resolved the issue for us right away.
Great service from Brandon as always.
Amazing and helpful as always.
Let us help you with your IT issues. Call Consolidated Business Solutions 483-4000 today.
You know I got 2 home runs.
You got 2 jacks.
And then my grand slam, I signed the ball for you.
Okay.
And it says, Papa, I love you.
Why did you do that?
Because you taught me everything about baseball.
You're so sweet.
And welcome back to Western Edge Living, presented by CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson. As we've been telling you in previous episodes of our show, you are going to be hearing more and more and more about CHI St. Alexius Health in Dickinson. That starts now as we go right to the top and we visit with the president of CHI St. Alexius, Carol Enderle. Carol, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you, Bill.
How's summer going so far?
Oh, busy as ever, but doing great.
And you wouldn't have it any other way. And I say that just by reading your resume and what's posted on the CHI website and your Facebook page. You like to be busy, don't you?
Oh, very much so.
Has that been something that's been part of your personality since you were growing up?
Always an overachiever, I would say.
So when you went to high school, you were always in these extracurricular activities, weren't you?
Yep, all the time. You know, I was always in lots of sports and lots of activities, and then went on to college and continued my education.
Well, speaking of that, you you grew up in Montana. Where at in Montana?
Yeah, so really kind of eastern Montana, down by Warden is the small town outside of Billings. About 20 minutes outside of Billings, and grew up there and had a great childhood, and then traveled and became a nurse and went on and traveled, and I was a travel nurse for some years, and really had a great career, 25-year career in the operating room. I worked in neurosurgery with a neurosurgeon for some time. I then went on and had my own practice in bariatrics and weight management, and I really have been blessed.
My.
So,
and you've been to places, I think you went to school in Colorado and also, I believe, Kansas City?
Well, I got my doctorate in Colorado, and you're right, Kansas City is where I got my MBA.
Okay. So. I know you've spent time in Hawaii, and that's a whole nother story. I think when we first met, I commented that you probably weren't here when it was 70 below, but here you are, and you're enjoying it, and you've got a wonderful facility. And one thing that'll always stand out, when we first met, you commented on how beautiful the new hospital is, CHI, St. Alexius Dickinson, and it is a wonderful, peaceful place. Comment on that. When you first saw it, what were your thoughts?
Oh, when I first saw it, Bill, it was a dream come true. It truly was. Just the way it's laid out, it's so healing. The environment, it's warm and comfortable and inviting, and is a place of healing.
Yeah.
You know, we're getting ready to celebrate our 10-year anniversary in December, and so we're very excited about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then, I was born and raised here. I was born at the old St. Joseph's Hospital, and so it's nice to see how far it has come. And yes, it is a very, very wonderful facility. Along with that, talk about your staff. You've got a great staff, office staff. You've got a great nurses that work there. Talk about that. You got to be impressed by that too.
Oh boy, am I ever! You know, I would say. And that's exactly what I was going to say. What makes that environment so warm in that hospital is truly the staff, and it's the staff here in Dickinson. I have never worked with such a great staff. They are top-notch, and I've been many places, Bill, and they are by far the best.
Wonderful. That's so good to hear. You know, this part of the country is very proud of our nurses, and there's a lot of students from this area that have gone on to a career in nursing, and every single one of them absolutely loves their job. My daughter-in-law is a registered nurse in Fargo, and I know what that means. You know, they're such caring individuals. They're a very special group of people, the nurses, and that's what you have at CHI, St. Alexius Health here in Dickinson. Another thing that I've noticed is the community programs that you offer, everything from grief counseling to perhaps new parents are a little intimidated by their car seats, and another one, senior life solutions. We are in an aging society, and you address all of these issues from birth to and beyond.
Yep, absolutely, and that's a great way to put it, you know, birth and beyond. Senior Life Solutions is a new program for us, but we're very excited about that. And really, you know, it's those who are 65 and older who have some issues with depression, behavioral health, anything that, you know, along those lines, and just need to be able to talk to somebody, and they can talk to a psychiatrist. And it's a great resource for the community, especially for that age group, and focusing on that. We will be expanding into other areas as well with that program.
Challenges, goals. Where do you want to see your organization to go? What needs to be done, Carol?
You know what needs to be done. I mean, I'm so blessed to have such a great community support. We've got new providers now in our emergency room, and by that I mean changing from a locum providers to permanent providers living in the community. That is the goal here. We've done that now with the hospice program. We haven't had that in 4 years, and we have a complete new hospice program with providers who are living in the community. And really that's the goal for us, to keep adding services, keeping care close to home. That is so important. So caring for this community is very, very important to me, and caring for the staff, and really serving the people who serve the people.
You came on board, I believe, in 2022 in the spring.
Yep.
So you've been here a little over 2 years. What's your take on the community in Dickinson and southwestern North Dakota? What do you think? I know you've touched on it when we started, but tell us more.
It's a dream come true for me. I love Dickinson.
Second time you've said that.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I can't even express it. I have family. I'm connected to Dickinson through Richardson, my family, my husband's side, and I can see why it is so special. I came from Montana, but Dickinson is home for me, and I cannot see myself anywhere else.
Okay. If I asked your husband the same questions, what would he say? He loves it here too.
Oh my gosh, yes, yeah. We're living the dream, Bill.
Okay.
Living the dream.
What does he do?
Well, my husband's a surgical tech by trade.
Oh, okay.
So we actually met in the operating room. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So
that's a whole nother story. We'll put that on your reality show when we hear that.
Yeah. So.
Oh boy, I tell you that's a wonderful hospital. CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson. There's also. How does that work with, like, you've got the Bone and Joint Center on the second floor? Do they? What's the liaison like between CHI and Dr. Cote and his staff at the Bone and Joint Center?
Well, sometimes we think it's Dr. Cote's OR. So,
oh, really?
Yep, and we want them to think that, right? Because they're so vested, and we're blessed to have, such a great relationship with the Bone and Joint Center, and really, they are one of us as well, and their success is ours, and ours is theirs, and that's very important.
Well, it's so good to hear you say that, because Dr. Cote, I presented to him a possibility of coming on the show, but it's going to be after he gives me my new knee. So I will be at your wonderful facility on September 11th getting a new knee. And I says, Dr. Cote, let's have a good end story to this so we can put you on TV. And he's agreed to do that. So I'd like to say I'm looking forward to that. I guess I couldn't be in better hands. Is what I'll say. Yeah.
Yep, but with him, the staff, and the ancillary staff, nursing, everyone, just like I said, top notch.
Yes. Is there any questions that I haven't asked you that you think that perhaps our viewer would be interested in knowing?
I think, like I said, the expansion of services is important. We have 2 general surgeons now who live in the community. We will be starting bariatric surgery soon, so that's another service that we're going to be adding. That's a new expansion of that. And then I also just want to add priority care. We just opened up priority care, so people can just come in, go to the priority care clinic, and see a provider.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think you're always looking forward. You're always in forward motion, and the best thing that we could do to stay on top of what you offer is follow CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson on social media, on Facebook, and also you've got a great website too that gives you a lot of information about your organization. And gosh, I can't thank you enough for. It seems like we both have the same goal: Western Edge Living and CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson. We are bringing the community together, and we're here to tell you about it. And I can't thank you enough on behalf of Ron Rhodes and everybody with our program for your input. We really appreciate that. Thank you, Carol.
Oh, well, thank you, Bill. It's truly a pleasure.
Great. Glad to hear that. Our guest today has been Carol Enderle, the president of CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson. They present Western Edge Living. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for watching Western Edge Living, presented by CHI St. Alexius Health Dickinson.